James Kaufman, World News Report today. The end of the world. All generals and admirals called to meeting, even if actively deployed. Nothing like this has ever occurred, folks. This is happening early next week. They're flying in from their ships and their, deployment areas all around the world to all meet together. This sounds like a bad idea. Really bad idea. We even know where they're going to meet, which sounds like even a worse idea. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has ordered hundreds of the U.S. military's generals and admirals to gather on very short notice and without a stated reason at a Marine Corps base in Virginia next week, sowing confusion and alarm after the Trump administration's firing of numerous senior leaders this year. Now, are they going to go after the bad players in the government? Or is there a rock inbound? Or is there something else that we don't know that's occurring? The highly unusual directive was sent to virtually all of the military's top commanders worldwide, according to more than a dozen people familiar with the matter. If y'all remember, the White House right now is being surrounded by, fences that are impenetrable, i.e. you can't climb over them. This order was issued earlier this week against the backdrop of a potential government shutdown. And as Hegseth's overtly political moves have deepened a sense of distress among his opponents who fear that he is erasing the Defense Department's status as a nonpartisan institution. Well, let's hope that they all have to take lie detector tests if they're going to clean this nasty deep state government up. Well, they need everybody on board. All I can think of is we have seven comets in the solar system currently also. And, we have a lot of existential threats, including China, Iran, including Russia, etc. This has just taken everybody by surprise. In a statement Thursday, Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell affirmed that Hegseth will be addressing his senior military leaders early next week. I believe that's Tuesday. But he offered no additional details. Parnell, a senior advisor to the Defense Secretary, voiced no security concerns about the Washington Post reporting on the meeting, scheduled for Tuesday at Quantico, Virginia. So they're going to tell you where every leader is going to be, and then they're going to tell you what day it's going to be on? This makes zero sense. It was not immediately clear whether the White House was involved with the meeting or if President Donald Trump also will be attending the meeting. A spokesperson referred questions to the Pentagon. I'm guessing Trump will be there. The Washington Post wants to hear from Defense Department civilians and service members about changes with the Pentagon and throughout the U.S. military. And actually, they gave you an encrypted message system through Signal to contact them. The Washington Post did. Or you can email us. There are about 800 generals and admirals spread across the United States and dozens of other countries and time zones. People familiar with this order said Hegseth's order applies to all senior officers with the rank of brigadier general or above, or their Navy equivalents serving in command positions, and their top enlisted advisors as well. Typically, each of these officers oversees hundreds or even thousands of rank-and-file troops. Who's going to be overseeing them? Top commanders in conflict zones and senior military leaders stationed throughout Europe, the Middle East, and the Asian Pacific region are also expected to attend hegseth's meeting, said people familiar with the matter who spoke on the condition of anonymity, as they were not authorized to publicly discuss this meeting or issue. The order does not apply to top military officers who hold staff positions. Well, they're already there. Quote, all general officers in command in grades 0 through 7 through 0 through 10 and their general officer senior enlisted advisors are directed to attend the meeting within operational constraints, the order states, according to one person who saw a copy. 0 through 7 through 0 through 10 refers to the military's classification for all generals and all admirals. None of the people who spoke with the Post could recall a defense secretary ever ordering so many of the military's generals and admirals to assemble like this. Several said it raises more than security concerns, and I personally agree. People are very concerned. They have no idea what it means, one person said. I probably wouldn't show up. Many expressed frustration that even many of the commanders stationed overseas will be required to attend a hegseth impromptu summit, with some questioning the wisdom in doing so. It's very strange to have an in-person impromptu meeting like this because the Defense Department possesses and often uses highly secure video conferencing technology that enables military officials, regardless of their location, to discuss sensitive matters with the White House, the Pentagon, and or both. Another person said ordering hundreds of military leaders to appear in the same location is not how this is done. I would agree. Quote, you don't call up general officers and flag officers leading their people and their global forces into an auditorium outside D.C. and not tell them why or what the topic or agenda is, this person added. We're taking every general and flag officer out of the Pacific right now, one official said. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. On Capitol Hill, where hegseth's unorthodox stewardship of the Defense Department has rattled members of both political parties, lawmakers also appear to be caught off guard. Republican and Democratic leaders of the Senate and House Armed Services Committee did not immediately comment on this development. The orders come as hegseth has unilaterally directed massive recent changes at the Pentagon, including directing that the number of generals officers be reduced by 20% through a sweeping consolidation of top military commanders, firing senior leaders without cause, and a high-profile order to be rebranded the Defense Department as the Department of War, which is crazy, right? The Department of Defense is much more politically correct. Are we being invaded by aliens or what? These unusual orders to show up at Quantico next week coincide with efforts by hegseth to exert greater influence over who gets promoted to be a senior military officer, multiple officials told the Post. Even at the 1- and 2-star levels, the Secretary's team is scrutinizing old relationships and what officials have said or posted on social media as they determine whom to send forward for a higher rank or assignment. The Secretary of Defense's effort has had a chilling effect on rising officers, people familiar with the matter said, as multiple officials have expressed unease about the initiative and question whether it will erode the military's ability to stay insulated from the nation's toxic politics. Others have said such pressure would drive some rising officers to leave the military altogether, resulting in enormous losses to the Pentagon in terms of time, money spent training those leaders. top administration officials also have been preparing a new national defense strategy that is expected to make homeland defense the nation's top concern. After several years of China being identified as the top national security risk to the United States, some officials familiar with the order to travel said they thought they might be coming home. Do you think that it's all these Muslims and Somalians that have moved in? Are they going to clean those people up? What's going on here? Is he about to declare martial law? He being the president? I don't know. This is crazy. This happens on Tuesday. Hegseth's directive in May to slash about 100 generals and admirals also had generated concern among top military leaders. He called then for a 20% cut to the number of 4-star officers, the military's top rank, on active duty, and corresponding numbers of generals in the National Guard. There will also be another 10% reduction, at least, to the total number of generals and admirals across the forces. Last month, hegseth fired Lieutenant General Jeffrey Cruz, director of the Defense Intelligence Agency, Vice Admiral Nancy LaCour, the chief of the Navy Reserve, and Rear Admiral Milton Sands, a Navy SEAL officer who oversaw Special Forces Warfare Command. No specific reasons were given in any of those cases. It sounds like they're cleaning up the deep state, perhaps. These firings were the latest in a wider purge of national security agencies' top ranks as well. Since entering office, the Trump administration also has fired the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Charles Q. Brown, Jr., the chief of naval operations, Admiral Lisa Fanchetti, the commander of the Coast Guard, Admiral Linda Fagan, and the Air Force Vice Chief of Staff, General James Slife, among others. The list includes a disproportionate number of women. It's according to the Post, right? General David Alvin, the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, announced last month he will step down as well in November as he was asked to retire. Well, folks, this is a terrible idea to put all of our leaders in one room together for one day and then tell everyone that where they're going to be and tell everyone what day it's going to happen. Crazy, crazy stuff. Y'all tell me what y'all think below in the comments. But right now, I'm flabbergasted, and I'm not quite sure what's going on, but it's huge. Are we about to be attacked by China? Are we about to be attacked by aliens? Is there a comet headed this way? Is there a second star that's about to be visible? Is he about to put the U.S. on lockdown? This is crazy, folks. This is the biggest news of 2025 thus far. God bless. Please share, subscribe, and always remember, anything's possible in Bizarro World.